Hello everyone, it's Sheila back again with another tutorial. Today I'm going to show how to do this rosebud lace pattern. That's what I call this pattern. It's one of my own designs. You can probably find it anywhere on the internet. Others will probably have done it, but I made this one up myself for things. And this is a cardigan I'm busy knitting for someone. I've already got the back done. Quite a large 46-inch cardigan I'm doing in order for someone. So I don't need to do a little swatch to show this pattern. I'm going to show you how I do this. And I'm on to the next row to do the swatch. I'll blow it up a little bit. And I have to work out, because I'm putting two buds like that and then I'm putting one in between, so I have to work out where the one goes in between these two here. And you can count the stitches. There's 7 stitches between each bud, and you could count 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4th stitch, but I just go from the one below and follow that line up to then that's going to be the center stitch there, and I'm going to knit 2 together here. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 stitches I have to knit before I start the bud. And this is a pattern. You have to have an odd number between the buds here. If you have an even number, you can't get that center stitch in the center. It goes off center, so you must have an odd number. In this one here I have 7 stitches from one bud to the next, but it depends on the size of the garment you're doing. If I'm doing small baby ones, I would put 3 stitches in between, and maybe a larger child I would probably put 5 stitches in between. But when I do adult ones, I usually put 7 stitches in between, and I have 8 rows after the last. There's 4 rows to the pattern, and after I've done the second little bud, there's like 2 little holes here and 1 little one there, and after I've done that one, I'm doing 8 rows in between. But if you're doing a smaller one, I would do either 4 rows in between or 6 rows in between. It depends. It's your own choice, whatever you're doing. But I'm going to show how I do this one here. And anyway, I've worked out that I have to knit 10 stitches. So that's what I'm going to do for this. I'm knitting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've come to the first bud, and I'm going to knit 2 stitches together like that. Bring the yarn forward, knit 1 stitch, bring the yarn forward again, then I'm going to slip the next stitch and knit the stitch after that, and then I'm going to pass that slip stitch over that knit stitch. And that's the first part of the bud. You can see that's where the 2 little holes are going to be on the bottom, like those 2 little ones there. Now I'm going to knit 7 stitches to the next one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need to pull some wool out here. And I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to knit 2 stitches together, bring the yarn forward to the front of the needle, knit the next stitch, bring the yarn forward again to the front of the needle, slip the first stitch, knit the second stitch, and pass that first stitch, that slip stitch, over the knit stitch. And then again I'm going to knit 7 stitches. And then again knit 2 together. Move forward to the front of the needle, knit 1 stitch, roll forward, slip 1 stitch, knit 1 stitch, and pass the slip stitch over the knit stitch. And now I'm going to knit another 7, and I'll pause that until I get to the end. And I'm on to the last rosebud. So that's knit 2 stitches together, yarn forward, knit 1, yarn forward, slip 1, knit 1, pass a slip stitch over, and knit the last 2 stitches. So that's this phone of mine keeps going blurry. I think I need a new phone. So that's that row, the first row of the rosebud, and now I'm going to knit a purl row, and it's going to be purl all the way across. So I'll pause that until I knit that purl. Then I've knitted across the purl row, and now I'm going to show how to put the top part of the little bud in. That goes over the top of those 2 little holes. When you do that part, you have more stitches in between the rosebud than you did on the previous row that you did. So I'm starting off with, I think it's 12 stitches I have to knit. Yes, it's 12 stitches. And when I come to where I have to do the rosebud, you have the hole down below there, and that stitch there is the centre stitch between the 2 holes, and that's where you do the single hole. You bring your yarn forward and you knit that centre stitch, and the next stitch that goes over the hole, you knit those 2 stitches together. And then there's 10 stitches between. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10 stitches between each set of single little holes, and I'm going to put the yarn forward and knit 2 together again. And that's how you do the single hole over the thing, and I'll pause that until I get to the end. And I'm on to the last rosebud, and I'm bringing the yarn forward, knitting 2 stitches together, and then knitting to the end of the row. And the next row is a purl row, which I'm going to purl across all those stitches, and I'll pause that until I get to the end of the row. So that's another Rosebud lace pattern here, and like we're saying, I've got 8 rows in between, so I have to knit another 8 rows and then start again and find out, follow this line here, that's where the next Rosebud for the next lot of patterns going to be. So that's my little bit tutorial for today. And another little tip, this is something I do with all of my knitting, you'll see with this one as well. I always leave, when I cast on, I always leave a very long end, put a sew up the sides, and it usually takes me all the way up to the armholes. And as that long end gets in the way sometimes, I just wrap it up and use a little stitch marker to fasten it onto the edge of the knitting. So that's a little tip for anyone who would like to do that, because I don't like to have a little short end here and then have to join ends for the stitch. I always leave a long end on every part that I knit. So that's a little bit of a tip. And if you would like to see more, when I get more done, the thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll let you see whatever else I get done. So bye for now.